Well, as far as media conferences go, that was pretty shit. What a fucking waste of time that was. Can't believe I wasted an hour of my time watching that. Absolute bollocks. Dillian Whyte has finally shown his face. I don't know. What does this mean for the Mind Games crew? Dillian's having he's playing mind games. He's not saying anything. He's getting in Fury's head. So now Dillian Whyte's talking. Does that what? Can someone explain to me? Are the mind games still on or off? How does Dillian Whyte talking work for the mind games? Can somebody explain to me? The mind games. How the mind games going? Fucking hell. But you know what it is, right? Do you know what it is? I'm in two minds. Was the pressure shit? Yes, it was. Do I care? No, I just want to see these guys fight. Like Justin Robinson, do not take this the wrong way, my brother. I'm not trying to have a go at you in any way, shape, or form, right? Obviously, Frank Warren was on this call from his car. Frank Warren looked like he was in a fucking Rolls Royce, yeah, during the press conference. People are complaining. Oh my gosh, this is so unprofessional. Oh, I'll show you the tweets in a minute. People are complaining about, oh my gosh, this isn't a patch on Eddie Hearn. It's so unprofessional. Like Frank Warren's in his car. Frank Warren's turned up to a Zoom meeting, and isn't that the fucking point of Zoom? No, I could be wrong, but isn't that the fucking point of Zoom? That you can like join a meeting from wherever you are, like on the go. Isn't that the whole point of fucking Skype and Zoom and these things, right? That we use every day. Like it's bizarre, isn't it? It's like, why do people give a shit? I don't give a shit. All I want to do is see these two fight. One thing I will say, so yeah, if somebody can tell me why people care about this stuff, I mean, yeah, did it look a bit pound shop like? Yeah, it probably did. Do I give a shit? No, I want to see these two get in the ring and get it on. Well, sorry, Toby, it was more of a media conference than a press conference. Sorry, it was a media conference. Both of these two goons had to sit down and answer a million and one questions from some of the best quote unquote journalists this country has to offer. I think if you ever wanted proof that British journalism is dying on its fucking ass, that fucking set of questions. let me just say this before we get on to Dillian. Yeah, let me just say this. You talk about the state of journalism in British boxing. I'm gonna say this one more time. How on earth on this planet, with all due respect, can you look like this? Sorry, let me drag it over. Can you look like this and become one of the most accredited and most respected opinions in boxing? I'm sorry, but how on earth can that be? Like, the questions were fucking awful, right? But when you look at the state of the people asking the questions, I mean, does it fucking surprise you when we've got people like this asking big questions? These are the biggest and brightest journalists that boxing have to offer. I could be wrong, right? But why do we have here a bunch of people, right, with all due respect, that have never trained for any? These guys haven't even trained for a sports day. True or false, right? You've got a bunch of guys who haven't even trained for fucking school sports day that are now interviewing and asking, and they're supposed to give you insight about professional athletes. Do you know what I'm saying? Would I turn up to the Olympic Games and ask Usain Bolt how his training is going on? No, because I haven't run 100 meters since sports day. I haven't run 100 meters since sports day. So it is what it is, isn't it? Like, the questions were bloody awful, but then when you look at the personnel in the room, is it any wonder? I mean, you've got a bunch of guys who, let's be honest, I mean, they really are. A lot of them are quite, if you were to take their BMI, they'd be on the higher end of the scale. All of a sudden, they're asking two of the world's best athletes about training camp. It's a fucking laughing stock. Anyway, Dillian Whyte fans, tell me, now that Dillian's talking, are the mind games still going on or are the mind games off? Can someone explain to me now? Because I've been hearing all week about Dillian's been playing a blinder. He's been playing a blinder by not talking. Now he's talking. So does that mean the mind games aren't working anymore? To be honest, I think we're going to get a really good fight, believe it or not. I actually think we're going to get a really, really good fight. And I'm starting to think maybe this is going to be a bit more competitive than people think, because one thing's for sure, Dillian Whyte is in absolutely tremendous condition. And I'm not just going on this video of Dillian. Obviously, we're going on the other video of Dillian. Dillian yesterday, which actually I should have come prepared, is finally promoting the fight on social media, isn't it? Yesterday, Dillian Whyte did a post on social media promoting the fight. And people are saying, this is how fucking stupid people are, people are saying that the reason Dillian's promoting the fight is because of Frank Warren is now paying Dillian money. As far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong on this is my opinion. I don't have any facts on this, but as far as I'm aware, the reason why Dillian's now promoting the fight is because if Dillian doesn't promote the fight, he's in breach of clause 11 of his contract, as per what Frank Warren said on the radio to Talk Sport. You have to do some quote unquote reasonable promotion of the fight on your social media channels, or you are in breach of clause 11 on his contract. So a lot of people now asking stuff about why is Dillian now posting on his social media? Why is Dillian posting on his Instagram? Frank Warren's giving Dillian a whole bag of money. Everything's changed. Well, I don't know. From what I've seen, he's contractually obligated to reasonably promote this fight on social media. Before yesterday, he had done zero promotion. So if he doesn't want to be in breach of contract, he has to do something. So that's the reason why we've got this. We learned absolutely nothing about these two fighters. What we did learn from this video is that Dillian Whyte looks in tremendous shape and is taking it seriously. We don't have any idea what kind of shape Tyson Fury's in. We're hearing a few rumors about what his weight's going to be. There's a few people on the internet who claim to be on the know, who claim to think they know what he's going to weigh in on weigh-in day. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the case, all right, or not. But we'll have to wait and see. But one thing I like, and the reason that I'm convinced that we're going to get a really, really good fight, is both of these guys, you can tell they've cut, well, I don't know about Fury, certainly Dillian. You can tell Dillian hasn't cut many corners in camp, because when you get to that stage, you've just finished camp, you're tired, you're flat. Both of these guys are flat. That's what people don't understand. Oh, it's boring. Both of these guys are flat. Both of these guys have literally just finished probably one of the hardest camps, yeah, of their career, right? You'd expect, right, that certainly for Dillian Whyte, this has been the hardest camp of his entire career. So both these guys are going to be lethargic, right? Both these guys have just pushed their bodies to the limit. Marco, if you want to come on, you can come on. That's not a problem. And by the way, if people do want to come on, if you look at the pinned comment at the top, if you email me, Marco, you don't need to email me because I've already got your email address. But if you email me, if you haven't been on the channel before and you'd like to come on, you might be able to come on. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the presser? What do you guys think of Dillian? I just think, look, both of these guys are tired. Both of these guys are lethargic. There's no need to do a big talk. There's no need to get rattled up. There's no need to really get riled up, especially when they're not in the same room, especially when they're over Zoom, because the hard work's done. And this is actually what I like to see from fighters, to be honest. That tells me that I think we're going to get a really good fight, you know. That's what I think. You know, both of these guys have, you know, particularly Dillian, I think, you know, he's done some serious hard work in camp. And that's about it, isn't it now? The talking's over. Whatever he says, you heard Tyson Fury. The journalists kept asking Tyson over and over again about mind games, didn't they? They kept asking Tyson the same question 160 times. Tyson, do you, I'm going to paraphrase it. Tyson, do you think that, you know, you might lose this fight because, you know, you haven't been able to get into Dillian's head, because you haven't been able to talk to Dillian before the press conference and how you normally win fights? But it's bullshit. And even Tyson said, what you say before fights, it doesn't mean anything, which is what I've been saying on his fucking channel for the last how many years? All this, you know, and do you know what? It's so funny. Fury even said exactly what I've been saying on the channel for donkey's years. Fury was laughing at these idiotic people who do stuff like, oh, he looked away at the weigh-in. Did you see that part of the press conference? Oh my God, he looked away. Oh, he didn't say anything, blah, blah. Fury was actually laughing at these muppets who look at stuff like that and think that actually means anything in a flipping boxing ring. It doesn't mean anything. And Fury was right to point that out. And for me, that was the funniest part of the interview when Tyson Fury said, oh, you know, all these guys, you know, looking at press conferences and saying, oh, he looked away first, who looked away first, who spoke, who didn't say anything. It's pointless. You get in the ring and it is what it is. And I think, like I said, both of these guys, hopefully, you can see with Dillian, both of these guys hopefully have trained hard, and I think we're going to get a good fight. I will say one thing, and then we'll get onto your comments. And if you want to call in, some of you can call in. I will say one thing. Dillian knows he's up against it, and he said it, and that's what I like. That's what I like to hear from Dillian. One thing I liked from Dillian, yeah, is that he didn't front it. You know, one of the first things he said in the press conference is, "Look, you know, I know what I'm up against." It's no, he said that. He said, "I know what I'm up against." So that's good. It's always good when you've got fighters that are realistic instead of getting fighters that are fucking delusional. Do you know what I mean? It's much better when you get fighters that are realistic instead of fighters that are delusional. Dillian Whyte knows it's going to be a tough task, but, you know, is he capable of doing it? We'll have to wait and see. It's heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. Right, let me go through your comments. If you want to pop on the show, we've already got one person who wants to pop on. Send me an email at ultratechsports@gmail.com. If you look at YouTube, it's pinned right at the top. We've got 70 people already, only 20 likes. Please hit the like button if you're here. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe. If you'd like to call in, you need to email me at ultratechsports@gmail.com and you will get a link. Yeah, all right. We'll get Marco on in a sec. That's fine. So, Marco, if you give me 2 seconds, I will send you the link and get you on. I just need to set my speakers up, actually. In fact, let me set my headphones up just to get ready and go. Let me just go through some comments and then we'll bring Marco in. If people want to call in, they can call in. I don't think we learned anything, really. Let me tell you one thing, and I will play this. This is the most interesting part of the whole press conference, which is not saying much, other than Frank Warren answering the phone in his damn car, which I thought was quite funny. And also Frank Warren, you know, Frank Warren jumping off the call. He was asked a question. You see that? Frank Warren was asked a question by a journalist, but it was too late. He'd already fucking pissed off in his Rolls Royce. For those of you who missed it there's the living legend, aka Frank Warren, doing Zoom calls. Apparently, according to people, this means Eddie Hearn's a much better promoter than Frank Warren, because Eddie Hearn would never do a press conference or a media conference in his car. Last time I fucking checked, Zoom, the whole point of Zoom and the whole point of fucking Skype was to video people on the fucking move, right? Wasn't that the whole fucking point? I don't know. Or we're supposed to be stuck to our desks all day. I mean, these people are literally, you know what? Right, let's go through this. Yeah, and I will say one thing to Damien. There were no questions asked about Daniel Kinahan. This channel won't be asking any questions of Daniel Kinahan. Let me tell you something. Can I just say something right now before we crack on with this? This is going to be very unpopular, but I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck about Daniel Kinahan. Daniel Kinahan has never harmed me, and Daniel Kinahan, yeah, has never, ever, as far as I'm aware, the fighters love Daniel Kinahan. As far as I'm aware, the fighters love Daniel Kinahan. So, listen, I'm not saying nothing negative about Daniel Kinahan, but all I'll say is this, yeah, and this is not aimed at Damien, by the way. I'm just saying because Damien brought it up. It's bizarre how many people on the internet, 1 minute they're on Twitter and YouTube pretending to be gangsters. Next minute they're snitching on drug dealers. What are you? Make up your mind. Are you a tough guy or not? Are you a gangster or not? If you're a gangster, why are you posting people's personal business information and trying to implicate people online? Have you noticed that? It'll be these same dudes that be talking about how they're hot gangsters. Have you noticed that? It'll be these same dudes talking every day. Send me your Addy. Send me your Addy. Hey, yo, he looks scared, you know. He looks scared. Like, oh, no, I'll bang him out. Send me your address. Make up your mind. Like, are you a gangster or are you not a gangster? Because 1 minute you're going on the internet pretending to be a gangster. Next minute you're playing detective. That these guys are waking up 7 o'clock in the morning playing detective. Oh, you know what I found out about Daniel Kinahan's business? Listen, forget what Daniel Kinahan's doing in his business. Concentrate and focus on paying rent this month. Concentrate on getting your missus to keep her legs shut this month. What the fuck you give a damn about Daniel Kinahan? Dude's waking up 7 in the fucking morning. Oh my God, I've just been looking into Daniel Kinahan's business. Look, you know what? You know what? See your missus. Tell her to keep her legs shut. How about that? How about that? Instead of fucking, you got your head in your laptop, yeah? You got your head in your laptop all banging on about Daniel Kinahan. Concentrate on keeping your missus on that leash. What are these dudes talking about? And these dudes are claiming they're hot gangsters, like. They be talking that gangster shit. Send me your Addy. Send me your Addy. Yeah, come, let's have a spar. Yeah, come, let's have a spar. Same guys 2 minutes later on Twitter. Oh, do you know what I found out about Daniel Kinahan? Oh my God, he sold a bit of weed. Oh my God, this is terrible. No, Daniel Kinahan might have sold a bit of dope. Oh my God, this is so bad. Oh, I'm gonna tell the cops. I hope the authorities get involved. Why are you hoping for the authorities to get involved? I thought he was a gangster. Yeah, I thought he was gangster. So why are you hoping the authorities sanction Daniel Kinahan? But I thought he was a gangster. This show ain't Oprah Winfrey. This show is not Oprah Winfrey. I ain't dragging no man's business out into these out on YouTube. I ain't gonna put Daniel Kinahan's business out on YouTube and start speculating about him. And people are ratting everywhere and bringing Anthony Joshua into it and shit. Bringing in, people are looking at Anthony Joshua's businesses and linking them to Daniel Kinahan and this and that, and they're emailing journalists telling them to ask this question, ask that question. Man, shut the hell up, man. Focus on paying. Let me say this now. Focus on paying rent, man. These are the same dudes now that are going to jump on and go, oh, Boris Johnson's stealing all this money from me. Oh, it's Elon Musk. All these rich people are stealing money. No, brother. You're stealing from yourself because you wake up in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, yeah? And instead of logging into jobcenter.com, you're tweeting bullshit about Daniel Kinahan. Don't worry about Daniel Kinahan, yeah? Worry about getting yourself out of Iceland and into Waitrose. Then talk about Daniel Kinahan, yeah? Find these guys in a frozen food section in Iceland. They're talking about Daniel Kinahan, man. Work your way out of that frozen food section out in Iceland. I seen you in the Iceland section next to Peter Andre. Seen you in the Iceland food section next to Colleen, what's her name? Colleen Rooney and all these people. Colleen Nolan. Don't worry about Daniel Kinahan, man. Right, sorry about that. Now that that's been taken, yeah, of course I'm on the Kinahan payroll. I'm not. By the way, let me say, I'm not a gangster at all. I'm not a tough guy. I ain't no gangster. But all these dudes that claiming they gangster are trying to get the authorities involved, innit? Trying to get the authorities involved. They can't make up their minds, innit? 1 minute they're Nino Brown, the next minute they're going up on a witness stand, innit? Next minute they're up on a witness stand. Oh, I saw Daniel Kinahan. He might have sold some weed. Get the authorities in. Somebody call the FBI. No, this could have big implications on boxing. Oh my God, man. Shut the hell up, man. Go and get a job, man. Anyway. Right, let's go through some comments then, Marco. Right, sorry about that. That pissed me off. But I think Damien's Irish. So obviously for Irish people, it's a big deal. It's a big story. It's a big thing. So that was never aimed at Damien, who's a long-time viewer of the channel. Right, let's go. Retro Gamer says, Dillian is nervous already. Fury will land with regularity. White has been stopped once. Even when he wins, it never looks great. Blah, blah, blah. That's your opinion. I think Dillian Whyte looks absolutely fine to me. Doesn't look scared. You know, I don't care a shit about who looks like what, who looks like. Listen, no one knows what's going to happen until the bell goes. Let's have a go. Harvey Chan says, White's been sparring Southpaw. This is what I wanted to say. The only good thing, yeah, about this entire press conference, if I can get these damn speakers on, yeah, was when Dillian Whyte was asked a question about what really happened in sparring between him and Tyson Fury, and he couldn't answer the question. Did you see that bit? I'm not sure if my speakers, I think they are working. Let me see, if you give me 3 seconds, if I can actually share this with you without getting done. Fingers crossed. I'm on the Queensbury payroll, so let's see if they let me off of this one. Right, here we go. Opera tab. Let me guys know if you can hear the sound on this, yes or no. But this is Dillian Whyte being asked about sparring. Let me just turn my effing volume up, and then we will get going. Hold on. There we go. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear this, yes or no.
You've both gone back and forth in the media about the sparring session, but I want to ask you what actually happened, what actually went down.
Ask Tyson Fury, he says he's an honest man, he's a straightforward man, and he's this and he's that. Ask Tyson Fury, just like the same way we're still waiting to find out where what charity £7 million went to that he gave up the Wilder fight. We're still waiting to find out. He says he's a nice man, so ask him and see what he answers.
So that reads to me, I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if you can hear that, yeah? But look. Just a lot of bullshit, really. Harvey Chan saying, in their spar, Fury got dropped by Whyte. He dropped Whyte and Hughie Fury dropped Whyte. This is 100%. Okay, that's fine. But, I mean, just answer the fucking question. I don't understand this stuff. Like, this, to me, tells me that the sparring's a waste of time. Don't even think about it. If it was a big deal, just say what happened, didn't it? It had an echo. My bad, yeah, because I was playing it through my speakers. But you get what it is, yeah. Couldn't care less what happens in sparring. Right, let me get Marco in. All right, let me get Marco in. And then a few other people want to pop on. If you want to pop on the show, send me an email at ultratechsports@gmail.com. Send me an email and you can come on the show. I'm not just going to put the link out here because you get a lot of knob jockeys on it. Can I be honest with you? I don't even want to be here doing this. Man, that press conference, that media conference was utter shit. It was utter garbage. The only good thing about that press conference is the return to form of Christina Poncha, who is without a doubt one of the best looking females in boxing. And to be fair to Christina Poncha, she has a lot of dignity. She never wears inappropriate clothing, or she's never flirty or suggestive or anything like that. Actually, I would say I've got a lot of respect for her, for Christina Poncha. She does the job and she does the job properly. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's the only good thing about this press conference, is to see that Christina Poncha is back on form again. Other than that, it was a bag of doggy dude. It was a fucking can of pedigree chum. And I fucking sat down there for an hour waiting. Even when White turned on, White didn't say much. But like I said before, it is what it is. You know, it's down to training, you know. It is what it is. Marco will be on here any minute now. Let me just switch to headphones so I don't give me a sec. Harvey Chan says Christina Poncha is what would have happened if Michelle Joy Phillips went to college. No disrespect, but I think I've got to be careful what I say. But I think the difference in class, no disrespect, but I think that not even just looks, but I think the difference in class between A and B is rather large. Let's put it that way. I mean, I think we're talking about the difference here between, you know, Sainsbury's Basics and Waitrose #1 brand. But that's just my humble opinion. Again, it's a class thing. It's not just a looks thing. It's also a class thing, in my opinion. I just think one thing I will say about Christina Poncha is she has a lot of class, and she relies on knowledge of boxing, believe it or not, rather than turning up in not a lot of clothing. And that's all I'll say about that. 1 second. I'm having a mare here today. Yeah. Jason Walker, if you want to pop on, you're always welcome, Jay. You don't have to, but Jason, but I just let you. I did say that at some point we'll get you back on. So if you want to pop on, just waiting for Marco. No rush, Marco. I'm just getting my speakers ready because they are absolutely. I think we're ready to go here on my side. Let's go through some other stuff. So yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Whyte, Fury? Anybody scared? Anybody scared? Anybody coming in with the look? Should we do it? Look at Fury's eyes. Look at Fury's. It's all in his eyes. Look at Fury's eyes. He's shook. He's shook. The eyes don't lie. The eyes don't lie, guys. The eyes don't lie. Let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. In a street fight, yes, that kind of stuff counts, because a split, and this is why I've lost every street fight I've ever been in, because a split second of hesitation in a street fight can lose you the fight. Simple as that. A split second of uncertainty or hesitation can cost you the fight. So in a street fight, yes, if you want to play mind games or play games, it can work, because half a second is the difference between being awake and waking up in hospital, literally, right? But this is boxing. Boxing is very, very different. It's completely different, yeah? There's no mates, there's no bottles, there's no knives, it's not dark, there's no police. It's two guys in a ring with a referee, and you can afford to do things like work yourself into the fight. You can afford to do things like go up in gears. It's completely different. So the mind games thing, I just don't buy at all. I think mind games, are actually a lot more effective in street fights, because half a second is the difference between, like I said before, being out cold, yeah, and being home safe. That's the difference. Boxing is completely different. It's completely different sport, and so is UFC. I just sent you the. Who did I send it to? Yeah, Mark, I just sent you the email. I just sent you the link. I'll send it to you again. Check your spam or something. Check your spam. No rush. Blockchain says nobody's scared, only Dillian's lawyer. Listen, I think the fact that Dillian Whyte has turned up for this stuff, I could be wrong, but that tells me that Jeffrey Benz is full of bollocks. Now, let me know if I'm wrong about that, but that tells me that Jeffrey Benz is full of crap, and that what the majority of what Frank Warren said on TalkSport was actually the truth. Frank Warren said if Dillian Whyte doesn't promote the fight on social media, clause 11. True or false? Didn't Frank say that? If Dillian Whyte doesn't promote the fight on social media, clause 11's breached. All of a sudden, Dillian's promoting the fight. I got your email, Mark. I've just sent you another reply. So, yeah. So, check your spam. Check your junk mail. Luke Manhattan says, we heard about mind games in Brook versus Khan. Exactly. And look what that happened. I mean, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen, but it is what it is. 111 here. Please hit the like button. 105, only 35 likes. Please hit the like button. We are going to get some people come on and just give their opinions about the fight and see what Aguan. Let me just say, before we're waiting, shout out to Mark Tibbs, who is now following me on Twitter. I think Mark Tibbs knows who I am. Do you know that? Marco, you're here. Let me finish this and I'll bring you in. I think Mark Tibbs knows who I am because I pinged him on Twitter today to ask him about something that he said in his BT Sport interview. You know his BT Sport breakdown, and he talked about breaking levers. He said you need to break down the levers, and I thought, what's that about? Let me ask him. I pinged him, and in 2 seconds he pinged me back, and he said, sorry, I meant break his rhythm. He said, White has to break Fury's rhythm. And then he followed me on Twitter. So I think Mark Tibbs watches this show. So, shout out to Mark Tibbs. Really good guy, actually. It's a couple of times I've pinged Mark Tibbs directly and asked him, you know what I say about Mark Tibbs? He's one of the few coaches out there. A lot of these coaches, they want to come on Seconds Out or they want to come on these channels and they want to talk a bunch of bullshit. And then when you ask them, like, excuse me, can you explain what you actually mean? Because a lot of these trainers do a lot of word salad to try and make themselves sound clever. And when you ask them, look, what do you actually mean? Like, what are you actually talking about? Break it down for me. They disappear. Mark Tibbs, that's a couple of times now with Mark Tibbs. Well, I've asked him, Mark, can you explain what you mean by this? Or Mark, what do you mean? And Mark, in 2 seconds, just goes, yeah, boom. Now, I've got max respect for Mark Tibbs. Max respect for Mark Tibbs, man. Max respect. Jason Walker says, do you think Dillian wants a private check to do the Zoom call from? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Marco, good evening. Let me ask you a question, Marco, that I forgot to ask everybody else, but I'll ask you. I don't know why they didn't have Whyte and Fury together going at it on the press conference. Now, I can only imagine, and again, I think Eddie Hearn's been advising Whyte all the way, but that's my opinion. I think somebody told Dillian, don't get on the same call as Fury. Don't get involved. Don't get in this. It seems to me, Mark, that they really, really believe that these mind games work. It seems to be that they really don't want Fury to get into Dillian's head. I don't really think it makes a difference, but I thought that was something that kind of let down the press conference. We wanted to hear them both go at it, didn't we, Marco?
Absolutely, buddy. Good evening to you. Anyway, how are you?
Same shit, different day.
Same shit, different day. Yeah. No, 100%, man. Look, the build up to this has been fucking atrocious, hasn't it? I mean, Fury looked flat. Whyte looked a bit flat as well. I mean, I'm not understanding really all this talk of mind games and stuff. They both look kind of bored to me. And to be honest, I 100% agree with you. I think Hearn and fucking that idiot Jeffrey Benz told Whyte not to go in when Fury was there because God forbid we have a bit of build up, we have a bit of backstory to the fight. I mean, fuck me, I actually switched off halfway through Ultra. I was that bored.
Horrendous. I think, like I said, Marco, the two of them. But I think, Marco, it could be a good sign for the fight because Dillian looks in great shape. I'm expecting to see Dillian in the best shape of his career, to be honest. We're hearing rumours about Fury. I mean, I don't know if you've said it already. Go on, tell the people what you've heard about Fury's weight. I think we've all been hearing the same things on the internet. But if you want to tell the people what you heard about Fury's weight.
Yeah, I know someone that's around the camp, and I got sent a couple of pictures. And maybe I'll try and send them on to you on email. But he's looking quite svelte. Not svelte. He's looking good. He's looking kind of Fury to Fury versus Wilder 2 shape. He's kind of his arms look big and his torso is kind of thin. I think he's in good shape. But I'll be honest, I think he's a bit flat mentally, and I think this fight is not going to be a cakewalk like a lot of people think. I actually think this is going to be a good fight for about 4 or 5 rounds. I think Fury stopped him because I think Whyte is just a few levels below Fury. But and to be perfectly honest, I don't think for me he's not a top 5 heavyweight. I can think of 5 off the bat that I'd put ahead of him. I'd put the likes of Hrgovic above Whyte in terms of boxing ability. But I do think it's going to be a good fight. I think fight week things are going to come alive. I can kind of see when they're face to face finally there might be fireworks because, as we well know, Whyte is quite volatile, isn't he? He's quite temperamental. I think if Fury tries the usual tricks, a fucking slap could be thrown. Maybe I'm not too sure. I'm looking forward to it though. I mean, I've taken.
Well, if he does. If he does, they'll be getting deductions out of his purse. I think Dillian Whyte in a minute's playing ball because Frank Warren's about to send him the Don King. You know, Don King used to earn 10 million with Don King, and then you used to look at your paycheck and there's just deductions everywhere. That's what happened to Mike Tyson, by the way, for people who don't want to know about Don King. Mike Tyson used to get paid by Don King, but there were always deductions all over the place. So I think Frank Warren's looking for any excuse, basically, to save himself a few quid and deduct from Dillian's purse. So I think he better play along. That's my opinion.
And you can't blame Frank. You can't blame Frank because Frank's getting tossed around there by Hearn, by Benz, by fucking Team White. You know, they're a disaster. I mean, just to go back to Mike Tyson, I mean, they reckoned he generated over $1 billion. That's before inflation, and he ended his career bankrupt. So I mean, that just goes to show about those hefty deductions from King. But you know, I've looked at the narratives online. You know, on YouTube. Sorry. You know, I'm reading a lot of stuff about, you know, White had more views. I don't know if you were looking through the live chat there on Top Rank. There was a lot of Matchroom people in there. You know, White had more views. He's clearly the A side. Stuff like this. You know, it's rather fucking staggering. But look, we don't have long to wait now. I mean, this is going to be a top fight. I was listening to you last week about the undercard. I couldn't give a fuck about the undercard. You know,
nah, but
the undercard.
It's toilet though.
It is what it is. We don't get big fights like this very often. You know, we have to appreciate when we have mega fights because in the climate that boxing is in for the last kind of 10 years, we have not been able to get big fights. And to be fair to Frank Warren and Bob Arum and even PBC, we've got three Wilder Fury fights. We are about to get what's his name, Devin Haney against Kambosos. That's a mega fight in my opinion. That's an undisputed. Without Eddie Hearn, we got Josh Taylor undisputed. Without Eddie Hearn, we got Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor in an undisputed fight, which was obviously a robbery, but that was on Sky. Nothing to do with Eddie Hearn. You know, Eddie Hearn cannot make a mega fight, and there's a cult out there that are defending him to the hilt online, you know, about production value and stuff. This was a Zoom call. This was a media press where press can ask the fighters a couple of questions.
Exactly.
It happens before every major fight. The main press conference that's going to happen fight week will be much more professional. BT and Top Rank will be setting that up. It'll look very good. And
just to quickly butt in, just talking about mega fights. It's fine. Just talking about mega fights, just to let everybody know, I could be live this weekend for Conor Benn versus Chris Van der Heeren. Just continuing the tradition of big mega fights that are going to be happening this April. The biggest of them all this Saturday. Conor Benn versus Chris Van der Heeren. If you're not washing your ball sack, or if you're not beating your dog up, or if you're not washing your head, or something like that, and you've got the time to spare to watch that fight live with me, then please feel free to join me. I'm sure I'll be ripping it apart. And after this, I'll check to see who they've got on the undercard, Marco, because it's been a fucking 1 week to go and it's still TBA. But yeah, go on, Marco, give us your final thoughts on the fight and whatnot, how you see it. Let me just say one thing, like, you know, I think people put a bit too much emphasis into things like the promotion and fucking the glitz and the glamour. The bottom line of it is this for me. 94,000 tickets have been sold. I think that the fight will. Oh, sorry, Marco, we lost you there.
Just back. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. No, I was saying, I just think that. Look, I think all the complaints about the the presser and the promotion. Look, I don't think this fight needs much promoting. 94,000 tickets have been sold. The bottom line of it is that I'm sure the fight's going to do pretty well on pay-per-view. Not saying it's going to break all records, but I'm pretty sure it's going to do pay-per-view. Both these guys apparently have been training for this fight, so it is what it is now. Look, I think, like you said, I think it will blow up on fight week, and we've seen this with fights before, where you know going into fight week, it's not all in yeah, but then when you see the two guys go face to face, only takes a couple of days of a little bit of heat, a few words said to get people to push that button and spend that $24.99 or whatever. In America, they're gonna have to pay 70 quid for this shite, but that's another story. So yeah, I think it will do all right. I do agree with you. I think both the guys are flat, and we'll see. I just hope Fury's up for it because I think that the only problem that I see going into this, well, anything can happen in boxing, but I heard that he used to ping White's head around in sparring. All right, that's why I saw somebody online who said he was in there or saw it or something. And apparently, or somebody said that Fury used to ping this guy's head around. And I hope he's got the fear in him. Because with Wilder, he had the fear of death in him. for obvious reasons, yeah. But I'm not sure if he has that same level of fear with Whyte, and I hope he doesn't end up making a mistake. But listen, if Dillian Whyte deserves to win, he deserves to win. Give us your final thoughts.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I've heard a couple of things as well, and most importantly, Whyte was very raw at the time. You know, he was very raw.
Yeah.
Fury used to go in there with no head guard in. You know, he would have sparred many rounds with other fighters, Big Baby and Huey Fury and so on and so forth. You know, maybe 20 rounds or whatever, and then go in and fight Whyte. So if Whyte had success, you know, it's sparring and things happen, but you also have to factor in how many rounds Fury had previously done. He was wearing no headgear. You know, there's many different things to this, but look, sparring. David Price knocked out Anthony Joshua. Would he beat Anthony Joshua in a fight? I don't think so. No. But you know, it is what it is. You have to take into account all these different factors. Personally, I think there's a gulf in class here. I hope it's a good fight. I hope it's not one-sided. I can see Fury. I can see a possibility of him ending this in one round. I'll be honest. I think there's that much of a gulf in class. If Fury goes in like he did against Wilder in the second fight, I think he could go in. I think you put him on him quick and stop him. I really do. I think it could be that fucking easy. But I hope
let me just say one last thing. I'm expecting him to be aggressive. Weight lost or no weight. I can't imagine him going into a fight with Sugar Hill as his trainer and not being aggressive. He might wait a round or two, maybe 2 rounds to see what's going on. But I think win, lose or draw, my prediction, because people are saying you're going to see Fury versus Chisora too. My prediction is you're going to see the complete opposite. I think he's going to push forward. I think he's going to push forward and try and push Dillian back. And I think it's going to be very, very simple tactics. I think you're going to see a very, very stiff jab. And if the jab's landing, I think you're going to see the right hand come over the top. And it's as simple as that. I don't think you're going to see much, and I could be wrong on this, but I'm just getting I don't think we're going to see much special effects. I think people, if he does come in quite light, there's rumors he's going to come in pretty light, Fury. I don't think it's going to be like, you know, he's going to be dancing around in his feet and doing the same things like he did with Chisora. I think he may take a round or so to have a look, but I think eventually it is what it is. He's going to go in and he's going to be on the front foot. He's going to try and push Dillian out of the center. He's going to try and push him out with the jab. And if you can get him at the end of the jab, he's going to throw the right hand after it.
Let's just say Fury beats him, right? He beats him, let's say, in the third round. It's stoppage. It's a fairly one-sided beatdown, right? What happens to Fury's resume then, do you think? Do you think people are going to start giving Fury credit, or do you think there's going to be excuses?
No, there'll be no credit. I can tell you, I don't give a shit about resumes, right? You know that. And I mean that clear to anybody listening. I don't give a shit about resumes. I keep saying it to I'm blue in the face. Resumes don't punch guys in the face, right?
Yeah,
hands
exactly,
do.
Yeah.
So stop watching resumes, watch hands. When you get in the ring, it's not the guy's resume, yeah? Like the way people talk about boxing is like these guys are walking into the ring armed with a copy of the fucking resume and beating them over the head with it. Do you know what I mean?
It's like it's a job interview, yeah.
He'll get no credit. He will get no credit. If Fury goes in there and does a demolition job, he will get no credit whatsoever. It will be, Whyte was a bum, knocked out by Povetkin. Listen, forget about it. It's what I've learned, and I learned this during the old Mayweather-Pacquiao days, you know, from back in the day. It's never enough. It's never enough for these people. There's always an excuse, and it's never enough. Like, there's people still out there who will tell you that Anthony Joshua was the fucking best heavyweight in the fucking world. You know, even now, like, you know, if he beats Usyk in a rematch, then we can have that discussion, right? But there's still people now who will look you dead on in the Jap's eye and say to you, yeah, Anthony Joshua was the best heavyweight in the world. They'll look you in the eye marker and they'll say, nah, he wasn't right against Usyk. Nah, he wasn't right against Andrew Ruiz. That was a clone. You know, the mob were threatening AJ. AJ owed the mob money and the mob were threatening AJ to lose. Somebody slipped something in AJ's drink. Oh, you can see him coming out. He wasn't. There's always a fucking excuse. It's never enough for these people. It's never enough.
It was MTK International Limited. But listen, Ultra. I mean, I must say, I heard you there earlier on. I mean, as a dub, I find this very, very funny that people are suddenly talking about Daniel Kinnan, especially.
Talk about it. If you want to talk about it quickly, go for it.
Well, I won't say much on it because it's a little bit of a taboo subject from where I'm from. But look, this is not a new subject. Some people are talking about this like they know a thing or two. I asked someone online there if they knew who Christy Kinnan was. They didn't know. Yeah. They didn't know who Gary the Monk Hutch. They don't know anything about the Hutch Kinnan feud. They don't know anything basically. I mean, this is going on 35 years. I'll give you a little prediction. for the next 18 months of what's going to happen with this. Absolutely jack shit is going to happen with Daniel Kinnan. Fuck all is going to happen. If people have short memories, in 2020 when the AJ and Fury fight was made and Fury thanked Daniel, everyone distanced themselves then because Nicola Tallant and co put a lot of pressure on who was from the Irish Daily Mail. They put a lot of pressure on people like Eddie Hearn Sky, saying, "Look, it's disgraceful that you're allowing this man in boxing." Daniel will always lurk in the shadows, and his father will always lurk in the shadows. And yes, there's no disputing what they're involved in; it's a fact. But you have to get past that. I mean, it is the way it is.
Can I just butt in? I was going to say two things. First and foremost, are these not the same people that spent fucking 30 years blowing smoke up this man's ass, Don King? Am I not right? Did Don King ever kill somebody? Yes or no?
Absolutely. We all know his past. I mean, yeah.
Did Don King go to? Wasn't he? He was a pimp, was he? Okay. Did he also go to jail for murdering somebody?
He did. Yeah. We all.
Right. I mean, right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Did anybody try to cancel Don King, or did they spend 30 years lapping the piss off, or lapping semen off his bollocks every 5 minutes and telling him how fucking great it was? Did anybody try to cancel Don King, who fucking was a pimp, who fucking murdered people and went to prison? Do you know how many fighters Don King treated like shit? Have you ever heard a fighter? Have you ever heard a fighter say Daniel Kinahan treated me like shit? Have you ever?
That's the thing. Look, and another thing with this is Daniel doesn't have a single conviction. He has no convictions. He has absolutely nothing on his record in Dublin, in Dubai, in Kuwait, anywhere. It's in Spain, Marbella. I spend a lot of time down Portobello's way, where Daniel used to kind of associate himself, and there's nothing but good things to be said about him down there. I mean, look, there's a facet in Dublin.
Yeah,
sorry,
go on. No, I just wanted to quickly. So I've been rude to Button. I just want to say something. My point is this. I want to ask you about this. Here's my point. I don't understand it to the level you do, but here's my thoughts. If Kinahan, obviously, we know he's involved in dodgy shit. People all over boxing are involved in dodgy shit. Wait, hold on a minute, Marco. Isn't Eddie Hearn supposed to be a gangster? Hold on a minute. This guy's coming on here telling everybody he never went to boarding school. He went to boxing gym, Billicray Boxing Club, had 4 fights, yeah? Coming on with a fucking East End accent, talking like he's Alan Sugar. I thought he's a gangster. But hold on a minute. Here's my point. What I look for, I don't fucking spend all day trying to be Inspector Cluedo. This is how I look at it. Are the fighters happy? I've spoken, yeah? I've seen fighters online. I've never seen one fighter online ever say a bad word about Daniel Kinahan. Every fighter I've seen online talk about Daniel Kinahan, yeah, has said he's fucking great to work with. Like, everybody I've ever seen talk about Kinahan has said he's a great guy, he's great to work with, he's got me more money, he's got me the right fights, he's a great advisor, this and that. That's what I've heard, yeah. Now, that could be wrong.
He is very good for the sport, Ultra. I mean, I'll be honest, he's very, very good for the sport. He's helped, obviously guide a lot of young fighters. He's made very big fights. Can't forget about this. He was involved in Fury's comeback. The Wilder fight, the first one, where really he shouldn't have been next to near Wilder on a PBC show. We all agree how fantastic Fury is, but he didn't really deserve the fight after 3 years to just jump in with Wilder, and that was Daniel securing that. I mean, we all thank Frank, but that was Daniel big time. Look, he's good for the sport. He has a dodgy past. It's not even really his fault. It's more his father's fault, Christie. I really implore anyone, especially from Britain or wherever, if you don't know much about this subject, just look up Kinnan versus Hutch on YouTube. You're going to find a lot of information on it. Nicola Tallant, she has a very warped view of what's going on. But if you read her articles over the last 13, 14 years, you'll learn a lot about this. I mean, this goes back to Daniel's father, Christie, who started this, and he has his links in South America, whatever, and Africa. But look, people, I see it online, and again, it goes back to Matchroom kind of FC, whatever you want to call them. This is like a victory for them all of a sudden. Oh, the National Treasury, are finally clamping down on Daniel, as if it's a victory for Eddie Hearn or where this agenda against Fury or Frank Warren or whatever. It's embarrassing. Nothing will happen from this. I'm telling you right now, nothing will happen. Daniel, it's not like Daniel is on the board of MTK or Pro Bellum or any of these companies. He's not on the board. He's just he's a very rich man. I mean, he doesn't need the money. He does this because he wants to do it, you know. So it's one of those things. But certainly look up Hutch versus Kinnan, and you'll learn a lot more. You know, it sounds like you know your stuff, though, Ultra. I mean, you know.
I don't know nothing about it. I don't listen. I don't have a fucking clue. All I'm saying is, like I said before, there are plenty of dodgy people that have worked in this sport. And Mike, the question that I was asking is, why now? Why? I don't like these social media witch hunts. I really don't. I don't like these social media pile-ins, and I don't like the whole cancel culture thingy. And like I said before, there's plenty of people in boxing that have been dodgy. We've already spoken about Don King. I don't think he got the same kind of energy. Maybe someone can tell me, you know, why the reason that is. But plenty of people in boxing have done some very, very bad things, and they've been allowed to continue in the sport 20, 30, 40 years. You know,
I have about 10 or 11 pictures dating back as far as 2010 of Eddie Hearn with Daniel Kinnan. So if people want to get into things, I mean, it would be quite easy to link Eddie Hearn with a lot of stuff. I mean, this choir boy image that he has is fucking embarrassing, to be honest. I mean, this guy is involved with a lot of people. We know who his father was involved with. You know, I don't need to go much into that because people know. We know who Barry was involved with a lot of dodgy people. You know, at that level of wealth, you're going to be involved with people because it's a small world at that end of the pyramid. It gets narrower as you get up. So it's a small world. Look,
all right, Kinahan spokesman.
As far as I'm concerned.
Right. Well, okay, Kinahan spokesman. I'm going to cut you off now. We'll both be collecting our checks from Daniel. I'd like to say big thanks to MTK for sending me all that money. I look forward to
MGM now, huh? MGM. It'll go back.
MGM, what is it? What I don't know what it fucking name changes every fucking week. MGM, MTK, Pro Bellum, whatever. Yeah, bring me in on the next venture. Let me know what the next venture is. All right, man. I really appreciate it, and we'll do a chat soon. Yeah, we'll bring you on.
Cheers, man. As always, thanks. See you in a bit.
Take care, mate. See you in a bit. Ali, I really appreciate you waiting, bro. How you doing?
I know worries, brother. How you doing?
I really appreciate you waiting. Sorry, I did hold you on for a long time there. Sorry, we're just doing the whole the MTK shit in there. We've got bills to pay. I thought we've got bills to pay and children to feed here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Big Dan Kinahan knocking on my door.
Yeah, you've put no super chat requests today.
No super chat.
No.
Oh, no super chat. Do you know what? Honestly, that's why, innit? That's why all the money's drying up. 1 second. Since you asked for the super chat, you know what's coming. Hold on a minute.
Donations. Gifts. More gifts.
If you'd like to send me a gift, you know what to do. Please send me a super chat. Like I said before, we down here, we really do need the money, as you can see right now. Ali, just give us your point. What do you think about the press conference? Is that, I keep calling it a press conference, Ali. It's actually a media conference. Is that the worst media conference we've ever seen in history?
I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life when it comes to media conferences, but it was pretty poor. And I think that the people that they put on for the people that answered to the reporters, it was very doctored. So they selected who they'd actually get on there, and it's pretty poor a bit.
Absolutely. Don't ask any questions about Dan Kinahan. You can see that. Yeah. Did you notice that Dillian Whyte, the first question came from Mike Coppinger? And you know who Mike Coppinger is, don't you? Mr. Matchroom. Yeah. Carry on. Sorry, Ali. No, but he is, isn't he? Mike Coppinger is Mr. Matchroom. And all of a sudden, he pops in and asks that question to Dillian Whyte first. So I agree with you. Let me just say, the whole thing was was orchestrated from top to bottom, basically. So carry on.
Yeah, it was just doctored, and I was actually thought, because the way they put it out, there was like, oh, Dillian Whyte's going to be there, Tyson Fury's going to be there. You know, they're going to talk to each other. And as soon as I saw that, they said Dillian Whyte will be on in 15 minutes, and then Tyson went, and I went, okay, this is I'll just turn it off. I was like, you know what, it's those are minutes of my life I'm never going to get back.
Do you think? I think the reason that is, right, I could be completely wrong, right, but I honestly believe what's happened is this. I think Eddie Hearn has been advising Dillian every step of the way on some of the stuff that's going on. I think Eddie Hearn's been instructing him and the lawyer to pull the shit out of their ass that isn't even in the contract. And I really do think that these guys believe that mind games work. I honestly believe that there are people in Dillian Whyte's team that believe that Tyson Fury wins boxing fights because of the pre-press conference mind games. I personally think that Tyson Fury wins boxing fights because he's 6'9", yeah, and in his prime he moved like a fucking middleweight. That's why I thought he won fights. But apparently, I think these people genuinely believe that if they let Dillian have too much contact on a one-on-one basis with Fury, that somehow something that Fury will say to him in that press conference will completely I genuinely fucking believe that. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, I think it's a mixture, really. I don't think it's all down to Dillian Whyte not demanding all this extra money and things like that. It's whoever's advising him in the team, especially when I listen to that lawyer. Oh my God, he's one of the worst things I've ever heard. And he started, he started calling Frank Warren baby. It was like
Lionel Hutz, yeah, Lionel Hutz.
Yeah. And I just think that, you know, it's a mixture of that, and it's whoever's advising Dillian. They've tried to do the best to actually, you know, sabotage the show because it's a rival promotion, and it's not really his promoters. But obviously, I've been watching both fighters, Dillian Whyte since his early fights before, you know, when he fought the likes of, was it Ian Lewinson? No, it wasn't. It wasn't it that when they had like they had the derby, yeah.
And Ian Lewison gave him a fucking fight, by the way, for them
yeah.
a couple of rounds.
And I watched that, and then Fury, I was watching him since I was a kid when he went on to the first, I think it was the first Chisora fight and things like that. But actually, I'm a fan of both fighters, but on both sides there are some fans that are just, I think they're a bit lost. Like,
so what do you think about the fight? So what do you think about the? I tell you what, before we get on to the fight, let me ask you this quickly. What do you think, Joe? I'm just kidding. You have to say so. I'm just kidding, bro. What do you think about Dillian not promoting the fight? Do you think he was right to do that or wrong? I'm not going to try and influence you. I don't care what you say. But what do you think? Dillian not, because most of the questions that Dillian got today were all the same thing, right? They were all journalists asking him, why the fuck haven't you turned up before? Where have you been for the last like 2 or 3 months? So do you think Dillian was right not to show up?
I mean, normally, I've never seen that happen. Whoever's advised him has given him some poor advice. He should have. He's turned up now with whatever they're doing. But I think it's one of those where it's if it was me, obviously I'm not in a position. These are fighters, you know. These are professional fighters. And obviously they're putting their lives on the line. And obviously I've done a bit of sparring in the gym and things like that. But I've done a couple of like, you know, white collar fights. But you know, that's up to them. But for me, if it was me or the norm would say that you'd want to be, regardless of any kind of these demands, you'd want to be remembered. Like if he goes on now, like I don't know, because all these people are saying Dillian Whyte's got no chance, right? I'm saying he's got no chance. So I do agree he's not the favourite. You know, for me, I went to watch Tyson Fury against Wilder, and I've seen his fights. Technically, I think if Fury's on his A game, I think he beats him. Even then, even if he's on again, I think he beats him. I think he breaks him down. I think he beats him mid to late. But if Tyson Fury comes in out of shape, it doesn't look like he is. But if he comes in and he doesn't take the fight seriously, then I do think Whyte has got a shot. You know, he has got a shot to upset him.
I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that at all. Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. Have you got anything else that you want to say about the fight or the promotion or anything else? Just any other final thoughts? Or?
I mean, it's fine. I'm going to the actual fight in Wembley. That's one of the worst undercards I've seen.
Yeah, just turn up at 10 o'clock. I would say plenty of time to go down for this.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I think overall there's all these.
Have you received the tickets? Just say, have you received? Because a few people were worried that they weren't going to receive tickets, but they've been receiving tickets today. Have you received tickets?
Yeah, I was waiting a long time, and then I saw the price of the tickets. I had to get the platinum tickets.
Very nice.
Which you're going to pay for, but I reckon it.
Does that mean you get a prawn cocktail? You get a prawn cocktail delivered to you. I think Frank and Francis Warren comes and brings you a prawn cocktail in the seat, right?
I was expecting it to be printed in gold or something like that, but it's on a piece of cardboard, right?
Yeah, well, listen, you know we roll at Queensbury, saving the environment.
But pretty much last thing before I go, I think it's going to be a good fight. It's I do think Tyson Fury is the favourite. Whyte's got a chance. He should have been at the press. Hopefully, he said if things are sorted. The last thing I heard, he said if things are sorted and look like they are, he'll be at a press conference next week. And apart from the undercard, even if you're paying for it, don't watch the undercard. It's pretty poor. Might as well go to sleep, and then whenever the main fight comes, should be good. The worst thing that could happen is if something like I went to the Warrington versus Lara fight in Leeds, and the clash of heads happened. So as long as that doesn't happen, it doesn't end in 30 seconds. I think I'll be all right.
Well,
but
I'll give you a bit of inside information to finish off. I've heard a rumor that Isaac Lowe's opponent's pulling out, and that they're bringing in a crossword as a replacement. So hopefully there should be.
I mean, I might as well volunteer. They might just pull me out of the crowd.
Yeah, that's it. If you was at Ben Shalom, that fucking Ben Shalom. Have you, I'm not going to start, but have you noticed now this? I'm not going to be careful, but guys in chat will know. Certain people are now crawling up Ben Shalom's arsehole now, all of a sudden. Hey, can you imagine if fucking Frank Warren, right, pulled somebody out of the fucking crowd and stuck them in the ring with Daniel Dubois? Would we ever hear the end of that? Ben Shalom literally putting dudes out in the crowd and saying, yo, do you want to have a fight with fucking, what's his name, Fraser Clark? And that guy gave Fraser Clark a fight for the first round as well. I mean, that whole thing was one of the most disgraceful nights of boxing I have ever. Apparently, British boxing's booming, but we're fucking pulling people out of fucking crowd and sending them into boxing ring on 24 hours notice. Enjoy your tickets. Oh yeah, by the way, one more thing: no refunds. You know how we work, Queensbury. No refunds. So listen, if anything happens to Dillian Whyte, I'm telling you now, if anything happens to Dillian Whyte and we swap him with Kabayel, yeah.
Oh no, God no.
Then those premium tickets still cost the same. Say your last piece, and then we'll go. Say your last bit.
Yeah, if that happens, then I might as well stay home in Leeds. But yeah, I might as well take the loss. But yeah, it's been good going on. It'll be a good fight, and let someone else get on now.
All right, mate. Take care. There's no one else to come on, but take care. And hopefully, we'll see you on Saturday, for the extravaganza of a lifetime, which I'm now going to cover. Conor Ben. Yeah?
Oh God. See you in a bit.
See you soon. Right, before we, I don't think anybody else wants to jump on, which is absolutely fine. Just a little impromptu episode. I mean, listen, I think everybody's flat. Tyson Fury's flat. Dillian Whyte's flat. I'm flat. Listen, I've got a busted right Achilles. I went to boxing 2 weeks ago, and my Achilles just has not recovered. Like, I can barely walk around the house. I'm actually going to go and try and run it off. So in a second, I'm going to go and have a run. Probably do 2 miles and see if I can run it off. My weight's still on, but it's a little bit heavier, but my weight's pretty much still on. I've still kept those 4 or 5 kilos off, but haven't really been training very hard because of right Achilles is gone. So it is what it is. Let's have a quick look. If anybody wants to call in and give their view on Whyte versus Fury, you can. You just have to send me an email. The email address is in the pinned comment at the top. If you're listening but you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. If you would like to give me a super chat, please give me a super chat. I think we've only made about 30 or 40 quid tonight. So please hit me up with the super chat. And let's have a look at this weekend's extravaganza of boxing. The Zone are changing the game once. Actually, do you know what? Before that, I will do that another time. I had something but I wanted to do, but we'll do that in a minute. Right, let's have a look. Let's go to quickly go to Matchroom Boxing. Quickly. And let's have a look. Apparently, Matchroom are the best promoters in British boxing, aren't they? They are the very, very best in British boxing. So let's have a look and see what Matchroom are serving up for us. They all tell me this is the peak of British boxing. So let's see what the peak of British boxing are. Where's the Conor Ben undercard? Hold on a minute. Oh, there you go. I thought they removed it, but I clicked on the wrong button. Right, let's see what we've got here, yeah? Matchroom is the very, very best in the game. So let's have a look here. Conor Ben versus Chris van der Heerden. We know about that. Let's have a look now. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got an undercard. There's no more TBAs, guys. We have got an undercard. Let's go through some of these opponents. Right, the Zone. £7.99 a month gets you this. James Metcalf versus Evgeny Vazim. I was going to make a joke there about a certain war, but probably be a bit too insensitive. Luke Evans versus Miguel Cesario Antin. Thomas Whitaker Hart versus Ben Ridings. That name rings a bell to me. Cyrus Patterson has an opponent, guys, and they've even put his photo up. Big shout out to the web developers at Matchroom. They found Cyrus Patterson's photo, and he's got an opponent. And they found him an opponent 1 week out before the fight. He's fighting Alexei Tutkarov. Sounds like an Egyptian mummy to me. Jordan Thompson is fighting Mariano Angel Gudino. Jordan Thompson's opponent is so good. He has no record. He has no losses, wins, losses, draws, or knockouts. This guy's so good, he's got no record. That's how dangerous that Jordan Thompson's opponent is. His opponent's so dangerous, nobody knows his record. Or maybe it's just mind games. It's mind games. The opponent's playing mind games. Trying to get into Jordan Thompson's head. Well, I've never had a fight before. There you go. Campbell Hatton has an opponent. His opponent is Ezequiel Gregores. Let's have a Google on this on Campbell Hatton's opponent. Ezequiel Gregores. Wow. Campbell Hatton fighting the best as per fucking usual. Let's have a look at his opponent. Ezequiel Gregores, who is 3 wins, 0 KOs, 9 losses, and 0 draws. I mean, if anybody speaks Campbell Hatton, if anybody says Campbell Hatton opponent, then 3 wins, 9 losses, and no knockouts, that's a Campbell Hatton opponent. If you'd have shown me this record, right? If you'd have just shown me this record, I'd have said, yeah, that's Campbell Hatton's opponent. Jack Cullen is fighting Vladimir Beluski. Let's have a look at this record. It is what it is. So Jack Cullen, that's not, hold on a minute. Is that Jack Cullen? Who is that? Is that really Jack Cullen? Are you sure? Let me just double check that. Who the fuck is that? That ain't Jack Cullen. What is going on Matchroom's website? I mean, they're criticizing Frank Warren, yeah? They're criticizing Frank Warren for turning up to today's press conference in his. Who the fuck is this? This ain't Jack Cullen. That ain't Jack Cullen. Hold on a minute. Who is that? I was going to make a joke there, but I can't make these jokes because I'm going to get done. I was going to make a joke about takeaway, but then I will get done here. That's Jack Cullen. Who the fuck is this? Let me see if I can do a Google image, reverse image search or something. Where have they got this photo from? Where are they getting these opponents from? Where are they getting these pictures from? Just give me 1 sec, yeah? Let's do a quick bit of investigation. Oh, excuse me. My web development. Oh, my gosh. My web development skills aren't good today. Right, finally. Who is Korbanov? Who's Korbanov? This is Korbanov. Should I know who this guy is? I'm about to expose myself here. Because that name rings a bell. Who's Korbanov? Hold on 1 sec. Is this Mr. One Farouk Korbanov? I believe it might be. Yes, it is. That is not Jack Cullen. That is Farouk Korbanov, who fought Joe Cordina, as you can see correctly there. Yes. So somehow, this is Matchroom. I mean, this is what happens when you serve up bum after bum after bum on the DAZN card. But there you go. Look, Farouk Korbanov, aka Jack Cullen. Maybe there's been some kind of transition that nobody told us about. But so there you go. As you can see, DAZN really are changing the game, as you can see there. But this is what happens when you get opponents at the last minute, you see. Obviously, these opponents were just fucking put in the... Listen, this card had no opponents. Like 1 week out, nobody had any opponents. So you can see at the last minute, it's just been a complete, it's been a complete last minute thing. Complete last minute job. So anyway, there's Jack Cullen, aka Farouk Korbanov. He'll be fighting Vladimir Beluski. There you go. And people say Queensbury's a shambles. Right, we've got Alicia Baumgartner. Let's have a look. She's fighting Edith Soledad Matisse, who has 11 wins and 9 losses. Women's boxing is absolutely flying high at the moment. Flying high. Talking about fighting Michaela Mayer. But instead, we're fighting opponents that are 1-11 and lost 9 with 3 KOs. We know what women's boxing is all about. Chris Biller-Smith versus Tommy McCarthy. Many people thought this was a fight of the year contender. I think that was last year. And then finally, we have Chris Van der Heerden versus Conor Benn. Did you hear? I haven't heard, but I heard Eddie Hearn did an interview, a sit-down with Conor Benn. And it was obviously held at Matchroom HQ. And he was just blowing Conor Benn's penis for the best part of half an hour, telling Conor Benn he's a level above European level. Does anybody hear that shit? Let me see if I can find that garbage on Twitter. Apparently Eddie Hearn was blowing smoke up Conor Benn's arsehole and telling him things like, you're above European level. Well, how are you above European level? You haven't. Have you fought? Have you fought the European champion yet, or what? Have you fought the European champion yet, David Avanesian? Did you see that? I'm trying to find it now, but he was sitting down with Conor Benn. I'm sorry, I've got the wrong screen up, so I'm just looking for it now. And he was just blowing smoke up Conor Benn's backside. You know, having one of those little fireside chats with Conor Benn. You know, having one of the little fireside chats. I remember when Eddie Hearn used to have them fireside chats with Ahara Davis. Go and ask Ahara Davis about them little fireside chats he used to have with Eddie Hearn. You know, Eddie Hearn likes to talk to his fighters, innit? Ask Ahara Davis about how Eddie Hearn used to go through his phone and they used to talk about women and stuff and talk about which women are hot and which women are not. Which shocks me because Eddie Hearn's a married man, isn't he? And we all know Eddie Hearn's family first. So I have no idea why Eddie Hearn would be engaging in them kind of conversations with Ahara Davis. Because like I said, everybody knows Eddie Hearn's a happily married guy. But ask Ahara Davis about the cozy conversations that Eddie Hearn used to have with him right before he chucked him under the bus. That's a hell of a promoter, you know. You're in Liverpool and people are calling you a monkey. People are calling you the N-word and people are sending you DMs and your promoter doesn't say nothing about it. Fuck me. That's a hell of a promoter, you know. People sending you DMs calling you the N-word and people saying, making monkey noises at you, but your promoter don't say nothing because he wants to make sure everybody gets a ticket to go to the fight. Lovely job. Mark Stanton says, yeah, according to Eddie, Ben is above Avanesian's level now, but later on wants to make that fight if Khan isn't injured. Fuck off. Avanesian's bad news for Conor Benn. I don't mind Conor Benn. I've got nothing against the dude, but Avanesian's a bad fight for Conor Benn. That's why they don't want to make the fight. And that's why they didn't make the fight when they were both on the same stable. Avanesian's work rate is terrible. It's terrible for Conor Benn. Conor Benn may have a big success early on in the fight, but the reality is Avanesian might get him out of there late because his work rate is absolutely unbelievable. He is like the boxing's answer to the Duracell bunny, David Avanesian. He has too much pace. Too much pace for someone like Conor Benn, in my humble opinion. Richard says that's probably the most David Brent I've seen Eddie. He's full on growing into character. Well, let's put it this way. DAZN needs some characters because if you look at this fucking stable that's going on right now, what have they got? What have they got going on there right now? They've got Canelo Alvarez, fantastic 2-fight deal. But outside of Canelo Alvarez right now, it's looking dry for me on DAZN. I mean, no disrespect, but the only way they're going to, get some subscribers back is maybe, like I said before, they can have Ebony Bridges, pop in after the watershed and maybe do a striptease. Remember they used to have naked news on TV? I'm not sure if I can do it for obvious reasons, but do you remember they used to have naked news on the TV? I'm not gonna. I've got to be careful what I do. Maybe have Ebony Bridges come in and do an episode of DAZN News Naked or something, or have Ebony Bridges prance around in one of her laundry. That's about the only way they're going to bring any subscribers in outside of Canelo Alvarez. Because no disrespect, but it looks dead on that channel. It looks dead. And the only good thing about DAZN being dead, people say it's not good for boxing. The only good thing about DAZN being dead is that it means Tony Belly's career is dead. People ask me, why do you want DAZN to fail? Anything that ends the career of Tony Belly, I'm up for. By hook or by crook. Anything that means that I don't ever have to see, hear, or share the same O2 as Tony Bellew again, is absolutely fantastic by me. So the sooner DAZN goes away, the sooner Tony Bellew goes away, and the sooner the other bit of some of the other crap on that channel goes away as well. Hopefully permanently. Because some of those questions that were asked today, I tell you what, let me say one thing in closing. British boxing journalism really needs to have a fucking good look at itself. Because those questions that were asked today were absolutely outrageous. It sucks. It sucks. You're sitting there in a queue for 100 people, and you're asking Tyson Fury some of the biggest BS questions of all time. Jason Walker says, Ultra, I'll be on Saturday, mate. Going for dinner with the wife. Nice bit of Thai. Mate, my missus loves, I was going to be careful here. My missus loves Thai food there. It's very, very good, isn't it? It's very, very good. You know the good thing about Thai food is, well, we can all make a bit of a green curry with some curry paste, but it's just, you can't cook that stuff at home for the most part. Absolutely superb. Have a good one. Have a good one. Thai food, always one of my favorites. Has anybody got any last questions? Has anybody got any last questions or got any last super chats or got anything else to say, or forever hold your peace? This show's been a dumpster fire. This show's been a disaster. I'm flat. Tyson Fury's flat. There's no saving this. As bad as this show's been, it's still been a bit better than 125 people still here. Lord knows why. Please hit the like button if you would like to. Just going to go through some more of these comments before we go. You guys are all laughing at Matchroom's opponent list. We know it's an absolute disgrace. I know Eddie Hearn saying there's going to be a big fight for Conor Benn. Is that going to be Amir Khan or something like that? Because Amir Khan wants to fight on. I have no idea. We'll wait and see. Hopefully, it's the winner of Spence and Ugas, which is a real man's fight, which I'll be planning to watch this weekend. Let me watch this. This is a very, very funny comment. Craig London says, I wonder if Dean Lamar White has got one of the 4 hospitality tickets, or is he referring to his usual breaking and entering tactics? Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Dean Lamar White, also known as Dean Kambosos, also known as Dean Pacquiao, also known as Dean Khan by many, also known as Dean Povetkin, also known as Dean Ingle, also known by many as Dean Brooke, sometimes referred to as Dean Mayweather Jr. On some occasions, even referred to as Dean Fury. We'll have to wait and see. Even on sometimes, his grandma calls him Dean Haney. We'll have to wait and see. Wig Trade says, Prime White went life and death with blah, blah, blah. Yeah, levels and levels. We'll wait and see. Anything can happen in the boxing ring. Peace out. Dean Cavalucius. Dean Cinnamon.